It always starts with a lighthouse.
Bioshock the Collection. Now, this has been something I've been playing in my spare time just while I'm not uploading and doing all this crazy shit, but I gotta tell you, this game is fucking amazing. I know it's not a game, I know it's 3 games in 1, which makes it even better for the price. Like, if we're talking just price alone, this game gets like an easy 9 out of 10. Just like, maybe if it was me, I would have made it like $39.99 or something, but it was $49.99, $50 or 50, or I don't know if it's what it was in dollars. I got it in euros, so I don't even know why I'm saying that. Anyway, this game was fantastic. Okay, so first off, we start off talking about all 3 as a whole. I won't go into each individual game just yet, but this one will be a bit longer because of the fact that I have to deal with 3 games in 1 review. So, to explain the story of Bioshock to anybody relatively going spoiler-free, Bioshock 1, 2, and Infinite all take place in the same universe. Bioshock Infinite, however, does not take place in the same place as 1 and 2. Bioshock 1 and 2 take place in Rapture, while Bioshock Infinite takes place in Columbia. Columbia is a great, fantastic place full of racists and whites and oh my god, it's just awful. Just so you know, I am joking when I say that, I'm not serious. Like, I know there's some of you out there who just can't take a joke. This is why I'm covering my tracks, by the way. I'll give you an example. Just look at this, right? This is what every creator on the internet kind of has to go through whenever they say anything controversial.
They'll think I'm a racist.
I hear you're a racist now, Father.
Obviously, each game has its own controversies to talk about and its own issues to tackle, and it does it in a brilliant way. Like, if you look at Bioshock 1, it like talks about slavery and how people aren't really in control of their own lives, you know. It goes on, and like, the game itself has a lot of underlying things, and it's very, very interesting. Like, if you've never played it, like, this was my first time going through it, I would highly recommend you play it. Highly. This is one of those games that blows your mind away by how amazing it is, how perfectly it balances fear, but also at the same time sympathy, and tells you stories and develops characters, and oh my god, it's fucking awesome. I loved it. Seriously. But to be honest, I think the first game out of all 3 of these had its flaws. It was a little bit tedious at points. I didn't like having to do the hacking. I know there's automatic hacking, but it was very scarce in the game. I also didn't like the combat, like in terms of the weapons and guns. I think there was a great variety, but the fact that it was kind of outdated compared to modern shooters just kind of put it back a little bit. I felt like they could have updated the interface or something like that. I know for that game they just pretty much went back, added some director's commentaries in there, and texture updates were added to the game. However, I do think the AI was also improved, because I've seen images and clips from the game prior to doing this review, and it seems like that's the case. I do have to say though, like, the game itself is amazing. Like, the director's commentary doesn't take away from the game, but at the same time it's really fun to like look out for, like, and just to hear what these guys were doing when they were talking about it. I won't spoil what they were talking about, but here's a little clip just to show you what I mean.
We couldn't make super complex AIs. We're not very smart. We're not very smart.
We're not very smart.
Yeah, exactly. So now we're moving on to Bioshock 2. Bioshock 2, that game is a bit of a mixed bag. Sorry, there's a bit of noise going on in the background. I'll wait until it's done and then I'll start again. Okay, so as I was saying, Bioshock 2 is a bit of a mixed bag. It's a game that sort of sparked controversy among some people, and others it didn't really do anything. You know, they were just kind of like, oh, it's a good game. It's alright, you know, it's... Honest, personally, I'm on the spectrum of it's okay, I don't mind it. I think it was a good game. I don't think it was a bad game in any shape or form. I'd actually give it like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. Just because of how well it continued the story. I think something that a lot of people wanted, but not a lot of others didn't, was to be Big Daddy. That's why it caused that controversy. But at the same time, it added a controversy into the story of its own, like relative to the Big Sisters and Big Daddies and how the Big Daddies are treated. And oh my god, it was amazing. I won't, as I said, yet again, I can't go into too much detail about the story, but there is a Big Daddy, the main character that you play as, who's trying to find his little sister. Now, he was shot 10 years ago and has just suddenly woken up for whatever reason, you don't know why. And you are introduced to this woman called Lamb, and she is the person who told you to off yourself at the start of the game. And basically what happens is you are just going about trying to find her, because if you don't find her, you're gonna die. And that's the story. That's the story that I'm able to give you without being spoilery. Now, I would say definitely that there was a bit more effort put into this than they put into Bioshock 1. In terms of like remastering and everything, it looks a lot better. The combat feels a lot smoother than it did the first time I played through it. I remember in Bioshock 2 when I used to play through it, it was a bit glitchy. Yet again, I think there's another AI update. I also think that they did improve a lot, like even a bit in the combat. I think they did fix it slightly, just from what I can remember. There's really not much else to talk about it, you know. They didn't add anything like the director's commentaries to this one. This one had nothing. Neither did Infinite, actually. It was just more a remaster. I would give the game a solid 8 out of 10. I would recommend the collection if it was just Bioshock 1 and 2. But the next game we get is literally my favorite game of the series. Like, one of my top 20 games of all time. Seriously, it's amazing. I love this next one. Bioshock Infinite. Holy shit. I could tell you so much about this game, and I could spend like a whole review, like an hour-long review, just explaining the concept of this fucking game. It's so complicated, but at the same time, it's so simple. It's beautiful. I love it. I think this game is fantastic. I would recommend everybody play this game. The thing is, even without context of Bioshock 1 and 2, you can pick up this game and play it. That's the thing about it. That's the beauty about it. It's got references to the old games, but it doesn't linger in them. It's got fantastic world. It's open. It's in the air. It's amazing. I'll go into the story now. Sorry, I kind of nerdgasm over that game. So basically what happens is you start off at a boat in a lighthouse. Well, on the way to a lighthouse, I should say. And what happens is these two people are rowing you there. You get up, you get into the lighthouse, and turns out it's a rocket ship. You go up, you get out, and holy fuck, you're in some sort of a religious place that really seems odd and peculiar, you know? This is like the South will rise again sort of shit. Really is. Oh my god. That's one thing about this game, though. It brings up the controversy of religious zealots, which is an amazing thing. I've never really seen many games do that. I know it does happen, but not many games will focus on a religious topic, especially when it comes to stuff like Christianity and all that. It's just sort of a touchy subject because so many people are sensitive about it, and yet, regardless, this game did really well. Thank God. But this game doesn't just linger on that stuff. It also has several other problems with this so-called, like, paradise, Colombia. There's racism, there's, like, offensiveness, there's inequality towards human beings, there's... oh my god, there's, like, so much shit. It's just crazy. Like, I could go on and on explaining, like, how offensive Colombia is to so many people, but I won't. I'll go on to the next section. Gameplay. This game is fantastic yet again. It's smooth, it's integrated, you know, it's it's had a lot of time, you know, it's more recent, so it's had more time to mature than Bioshock 1 and 2. I think this is probably the better of those in terms of shooters, especially in terms of story. This one's probably the best one too. But overall, the combat's fast. It's fast-paced, but at the same time, you can slow down and think about what you're gonna do. You can go in guns blazing, although most likely that'll get you killed. There is a consequence to death, which I do like, as opposed to the old games where it was just like, oh, you died? Oh, just here, take a little bit of your health off and be on your way, you know? Sorry, this one takes money away from you instead of actually letting you just die without consequence. In fact, if you run out of money in certain difficulties, you lose the game. That's it. Game over. You just go back to the start of the. I think it's the start of the level. I've never died, so I really don't know. And I'm not shitting when I say that. I've actually not died in Bioshock Infinite. I fucking love it so much. But seriously, guys, the story of this game is fantastic. You meet up with this girl later on in the game called Elizabeth. Her character is amazing. They've really thought about how she could be a companion and how she could help out in the game. Her AI is probably one of the best I've seen. A little bit at times, you know, you do see that it's an AI, but 99% of the time this thing is amazing. It helps you out. If you're running low on ammo, she will throw you ammo or salt or health or whatever you need, money even. Like, you know, they've clearly put a lot of thought into this character. She'll have things to say about the world and where you are. She'll point out secrets and lockpicks and all these other things that are really important and handy to your mission and help you develop a story, and you grow attached to her. You actually care about somebody who's helping you out rather than just being like, oh, I gotta escort this girl. Oh my god, fuck's sake. It actually is amazing. She doesn't get in the way. She just sort of takes cover and helps you out whatever way she can. Like, her alone is like a reason to give this game a perfect 10 out of 10. I really recommend you guys go play this game. I won't spoil too much, except for that I can say one thing about all three games overall. During all three games, you're playing as a character who has some form of commitment or some form of issue that they've got to go through. And it's really interesting. Also, all of them eat out of garbage. They are all trash men.
I'm the trash man. I come out, I throw trash all over the ring, and then I start eating garbage.
Okay? It's kind of gross and kind of weird, and I don't know why they do it. But, you know, that's video game logic, my friends. But honestly, overall, I would give Bioshock the Collection an easy 9 out of 10. I know one game brought it down from about a 10 out of 10. That would be Bioshock 1, and Bioshock 1 only just for its only for its minor tweaks. I feel like it could have been tweaked a little bit more. Bioshock 2 did slightly bring it down too, but Bioshock Infinite, 100% 10 out of 10 for that game. I would recommend you go get the collection, even if you've played Bioshock 1 and 2 and possibly Infinite. If not, I would 100% recommend this. This is just one of those things that you should really have in your PS4 collection if you've not played it before. And it's cheap. For 3 games, this is really cheap. Like, it's seriously, why don't you go out and buy it? Just, it's worth your time, you know? Obviously, this is just my opinion. Other people might feel differently about this. I know there's a lot of remakes coming out now, and a lot of people are fed up of seeing just other remakes of games. And I have to agree that I am fed up with that too. But when it's of such good games, you know, you can't really give out about it. If it's something like, oh, I don't know, something shit. I can't think of anything at the moment. I don't know. But, like, seriously, guys, thank you so much for watching this. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble for, like, I don't know, 16 straight minutes. If you liked this, I want you to fucking go down to the bottom of the page. There's, like, underneath this thing, just down there, yeah, just down. Yeah, okay. There's a little thing called a like button. You gotta press that, okay? That's a rule. You gotta press it. Unless you didn't like this, then you gotta go just slightly beside it and press dislike. That's all. You gotta subscribe if you wanna, but if you don't wanna, you can just leave. Just go on. See you later, guys. But if you do want to subscribe, I really do appreciate it. I know we're a small channel right now, but I'm hoping that someday we will get bigger. Obviously, we're slowly and steadily growing, and I think that's a great thing, and I'm happy that so many of you have given me support. So, I will see you in the next one. Don't expect this to be a regular thing. I'm only doing it because this is something that I was playing, and I really loved it, and it sort of inspired me to do another one of these. You know, all of these don't have to be negative. I think sometimes reviews can be extremely positive, and that's a good thing, you know? But at the same time, I do think that some games deserve criticism for being unfinished. You know, like No Man's Sky, and, you know. But anyway, guys, thank you. So, links for anything I used down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Chicka chicka.
Destroy all robots.